All right, let's get right into it. For, centuries, Stoic philosophy's been this kind of roadmap to resilience. But the real question is, how do you turn these ancient ideas into a practical toolkit for the absolute chaos of modern life? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down how to build that unshakable mind, brick by brick, one choice at a time.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. That heat behind your ribs when someone cuts you off in traffic, or that heavy, awkward silence after a conversation just completely goes wrong. You tell yourself, okay, next time I'll stay calm. But then, next time feels exactly like the last time. So what if the problem isn't really the world outside?
And this gets right to the heart of the Stoic idea. The source of all our turmoil, it isn't the traffic, it's not the rude comment, it's not that unexpected bill. Nope, it's our reaction to it. Our peace isn't found by changing the world out there, but by mastering the world right inside here. So let's look at the first tool for doing exactly that.
Okay, this first one is the absolute foundation of everything, winning your inner world. And it all starts with understanding what you truly have power over. The Stoics had a really powerful framework for this. So the philosopher Epictetus, he laid it out so simply. He said, some things are up to us, and some things are just not. What that means is our energy, our focus, our effort, it should only be spent on the things we actually command. Everything else, we have to learn to let it go. And look, this isn't about apathy. It's about getting to this deep kind of psychological freedom that is a total game changer.
Just look at the contrast between these two columns. Look at everything under what's not in your control. Your body, your reputation, the past, what other people do. We spend so much energy worrying about that stuff. But the Stoics argue that our true power, our real leverage, it only lives in that first column, our opinions, our desires, and our actions. Let's see what this looks like in the real world.
So, take Megan. She had terrible interview nerves, but instead of just spinning out and worrying about the interviewers or what questions they might ask, all things she couldn't control, she poured all of that energy into her preparation. She controlled the controllables, walked in there confident, and totally nailed it.
Or how about Walter's story? A drunk man actually spat on him. His first impulse could have been just pure rage, right? But he knew he couldn't control a drunk man's actions. What he could control was his response. So he just reframed it in his head as dirty water, went home, and completely avoided a meaningless, probably dangerous fight.
And this next one, this is maybe the most powerful example of all. Jay. While he was in prison, he couldn't change his past crimes, he couldn't change his current situation. But he had this realization that he could control what he did with the rest of his life. He embraced that idea, and when he was released, he became a mentor to help young people avoid the exact mistakes he made. He focused on his future actions, the one thing he truly owned.
So, once you get a handle on what you can control, how do you prepare for all the things you can't? Well, the Stoics had a technique for that too. It's a mental rehearsal, and it's called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of adversity. Now this gets misunderstood a lot. People call it negative visualization, but that's not really what it's about at all. The point isn't to sit around and dwell on how terrible something will feel. That just reinforces the idea that it's bad. The real goal here is to see a potential setback as a totally indifferent event, and then rehearse how you would respond with wisdom and with calm. Okay, so how do you actually do this? It's pretty straightforward. First, you imagine a potential challenge. Let's say a tough conversation with your boss. Second, you strip away the value judgment. The conversation itself isn't bad, it's just a conversation. And finally, you rehearse your ideal response. How would you handle it with courage and clarity no matter what the outcome is?
The best way to think about it is like a mental vaccine. You're giving your mind a small, controlled dose of a potential hardship, right? So that if it ever actually happens, you're already inoculated against the panic and the despair. You've already practiced your response.
Okay, a quick but really important heads up here. This is a powerful technique, and for anyone dealing with clinical depression, PTSD, or severe anxiety, imagining feared events can be really overwhelming without professional guidance. So it's a tool, but it's one to be used responsibly.
All right, this brings us to our third big tool, and this one is all about what you do in the heat of the moment. The absolute key is to create a little bit of space between a trigger and your action. I just love this quote from Epictetus. It so perfectly captures this idea of becoming unshakable. See, an insult only has power if you decide to give it power. By choosing to be the rock, you're not just ignoring the insult, you're actively refusing to give away your peace. The person insulting you gains nothing, and you lose nothing. And then the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, he took this idea even further.
He argued that the harm isn't in the event itself, it's in your decision to agree with the idea that you've been harmed. You are the final judge of whether something hurts you. I mean, think about that. That is a staggering amount of power to reclaim for yourself.
So how do you do this in practice? It's simple. You pause. The second you feel that spark of anger or hurt, you just take one conscious breath. That single second, that's your window of opportunity. It's the space where you can let that initial impulse just pass by and choose a considered, wise response instead of a knee-jerk reaction. So how does this all come together? How does it build on itself? You see, these tools aren't just isolated tricks. They are literally the materials you use to construct a resilient inner self. The Stoics believed the ultimate goal was to build what they called an inner fortress, a mental space that is entirely your own, a place where you can retreat for peace and clarity no matter what storms are raging outside. And this isn't about shutting the world out, it's about building a place inside you that the world can't break. No one else has the key, you are in command here.
So think of this slide as your blueprint. First, you focus on what you control, and you free up all that energy from the rest. You rehearse your response to hardship, so you're prepared. You choose meaning over ego, acting from your values, not your pride. You learn to observe events without absorbing them emotionally, and you find strength in silence, in that pause. This is how you build the fortress. So I'll just leave you with this thought. Peace isn't something you find out there, it's something you build in here. It's not about the world getting easier, it's about you getting stronger. So what's one thing, one external event, one opinion, one past mistake that you can choose to see differently? Right now, today, the power is yours.